My name's Rachel, and I have anxiety and depression. There was a point in my depression where my depression was at its all-time lowest, and I was just doing everything I could to be better. When I went to see my therapist, I just sat there and I was like, I am so exhausted. I wanted so bad to have hope that things were going to get better one day, but my brain just convinced me otherwise, that it just was going to be like that forever. The reality is there's so much beauty in allowing people to walk alongside you and to be there for you and to remind you of the promises that God is continuing to fulfill for you, even whenever you don't see them or believe them in that moment. And there's no benefit in staying in the dark, and that's where the enemy sees victory of you being in pain by yourself. There's so much beauty in sharing your story and what you're experiencing with people in your life, because you get to see the fruits that the people in your life bear as they pour those things into you in moments when you need it most. The same God that's with me in my darkest moments is also the same God that's with me in my most joyful. And sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy of God's time or people's time when I'm in that depressed space. But ultimately, God desires me to be in His presence no matter what. He asks for us to cast all of our anxieties on Him because He cares for us. And He just ultimately wants to be near us despite how I'm feeling or what I'm going through. And my depression doesn't define who I am. It's a part of my story. It is not a truth that God speaks over me, but it is for sure something that helps reveal to me more of who God is. Because I feel the depth of this sadness and this numbness, and it's so overwhelming, the same depth of those emotions that I feel is so small in comparison of the depth of His love for me. Your mental health is a journey. Everyone has mental health, and it's not linear. It's something that is a continued process, and there's a lot of beauty in it. There's a lot of struggle in it. My feelings are very valid. My emotions are things that God wants me to bring to Him. Even though my emotions are valid, that doesn't mean that they're always true. There's a psalm that I always go to in moments when I'm really overwhelmed, and it's Psalm 116. It says, "Be at rest once more, O my soul, for the Lord has been good to you." I have to remind myself of that truth of God has shown me His goodness through people in my life that have walked alongside me, through the privilege of being able to have medication that I can take, psychiatrists, doctors that I see, therapists that I see. God has shown me His goodness and His faithfulness to me through these different vessels of these different things. I always think back to, we're called to love your neighbor as yourself. And how am I supposed to love my neighbor well if I'm not loving and taking care of myself well? And that includes our mental health. That's a part of our overall wellness, and God cares about that deeply, and you are totally worth taking care of.